We've all heard the saying, the pen is mightier than the sword. But is it really? Can words truly outmatch the force of steel, or is this just a clever turn of phrase? Today, we're putting this age-old proverb under the microscope, questioning whether eloquence can triumph over brute strength. Is the pen just a poetic underdog, or does it wield real power in shaping history and society? Let's explore the truth behind this famous claim and see which truly holds the upper hand. Throughout history, there has been a comforting belief that reason, ideas, and moral integrity ultimately prevail over sheer force. This narrative suggests that thoughtful debate and ethical principles can overcome violence and coercion, shaping a more just society. Its appeal lies in the reassurance it offers, encouraging us to trust in the power of dialogue and intellect. Many are drawn to this story because it affirms our hopes for progress through understanding rather than conflict. By emphasizing the triumph of wisdom over aggression, it provides a sense of order and optimism in a world often marked by struggle. This conventional wisdom continues to inspire movements for change and guide our expectations of justice. From an early age, we are taught that fairness and merit determine success. Stories in classrooms and popular culture often emphasize hard work, honesty, and talent as the keys to achievement. Yet, as we step into the real world, a different pattern emerges. Power, rather than virtue, frequently shapes outcomes. The gap between these ideals and reality raises a troubling question. Why does power so often win, even when it contradicts the values we are encouraged to uphold? This central paradox challenges our understanding of justice and prompts us to look deeper into the forces that truly govern society. Imagine a boardroom where a team presents meticulously researched data, confident that their findings will guide the company's next move. Yet, despite the strength of their evidence, the final decision rests with a single executive whose influence outweighs all other voices. In many organizations, authority and leverage can shape outcomes more decisively than facts or logic. Even the most persuasive arguments may be set aside if they conflict with the interests of those in power. This dynamic highlights how, in real-world settings, the balance of power often determines which ideas are adopted, regardless of their merit. Understanding this interplay is crucial for navigating complex decision-making environments. The courtroom is often seen as a stage where competing ideas and interpretations of the law are presented. However, beneath this intellectual exchange lies a fundamental reality. The authority of the law is not derived solely from its principles or logic, but from the power that enforces it. Judges, juries, and legal procedures create the appearance of a fair contest, yet the outcome ultimately depends on the system's ability to impose its decisions. This enforceable power is what gives the law its true significance, ensuring that rulings are respected and consequences are real. Without this backing, legal arguments would hold little weight, and the courtroom would lose its role as a decisive arena. In essence, the law's authority is inseparable from the force that upholds it. Throughout history, leaders such as Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. have demonstrated the power of nonviolent resistance. Their movements succeeded in large part because they were able to appeal to authorities who possessed the ability to enact meaningful change. Gandhi's campaign for Indian independence relied on influencing British decision-makers, while King's civil rights efforts sought to persuade American lawmakers and the broader public. Both understood the importance of targeting those with the capacity to alter laws and social norms. This raises a critical question: what happens when no such receptive power exists? Without an authority willing or able to respond, the effectiveness of peaceful protest becomes uncertain, challenging activists to reconsider their strategies. Can moral arguments alone influence someone like Stalin? History suggests that the power of persuasion through words often reaches its limits when confronted with unwavering authority and rigid ideology. Stalin's reign was marked by an unyielding commitment to his vision, frequently enforced through force rather than dialogue. In such cases, the effectiveness of moral reasoning is overshadowed by the realities of power and control. The pen, representing ideas and ethics, may inspire change, But without the backing of tangible action, the sword, it often fails to sway those who rule with an iron fist. This raises important questions about the boundaries of ethical persuasion in the face of absolute authority. The classic debate between the pen and the sword often suggests a stark choice: intellect versus force, words versus weapons. However, this framing is a false dichotomy. In reality, the pen and the sword are deeply interconnected. Throughout history, written ideas have shaped the motivations behind conflicts, guided leaders, and influenced the course of nations. The pen does not merely oppose the sword; it can direct its actions, set its targets, and define its purpose. By reconsidering this relationship, we see that power is not just about physical strength, but also about the narratives and decisions that guide it. Ideas, when not paired with the means to enact them, often remain powerless. They can be compared to entries in a diary, private thoughts that never influence the world beyond their pages. Without the ability to translate concepts into action, even the most profound words risk becoming hollow or forgotten. Power gives ideas substance, allowing them to shape reality rather than simply exist as abstract notions. In this way, ideas without power are like promises never fulfilled, or intentions never realized. Only when ideas are supported by influence or action do they truly make a difference. When force is exercised without the guidance of thoughtful ideas, it often results in chaos and disorder. Imagine a riot. Energy and power surge through the crowd, but without a clear purpose or direction, that force quickly devolves into confusion and destruction. The absence of guiding principles means actions are driven by impulse rather than reason. In such situations, the potential for constructive change is lost, replaced instead by turmoil and unpredictability. Just as a sword wielded without intent can cause harm, force without wisdom lacks the structure needed to achieve meaningful outcomes. Ultimately, it is the combination of strength and insight that brings order and progress. True power is not simply a matter of force or authority. At its core, genuine might arises when a clear, coherent idea is paired with the credible means to bring it to life. This union transforms abstract concepts into tangible outcomes, allowing vision to shape reality. When intentions are matched with the capability to act, influence becomes lasting and meaningful. It is this alignment of purpose and practical ability that defines real strength, setting apart fleeting dominance from enduring impact. When considering your career, it's essential to focus not only on developing your skills but also on understanding how to leverage them effectively. Skill alone can open doors, but leverage allows you to maximize your impact and opportunities. This might mean building networks, seeking mentorship, or positioning yourself in roles where your abilities are highly valued. By combining expertise with strategic leverage, you can accelerate your professional growth and stand out in competitive environments. Remember, the most successful careers often result from the thoughtful application of both skill and leverage. In everyday life, our values guide the choices we make and shape our interactions with others. However, values alone are not always enough to protect what matters most to us. Setting clear boundaries is essential to ensure that our principles are respected, both by ourselves and by those around us. It requires the courage to enforce these boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable or challenging. By pairing values with firm boundaries, we create an environment where mutual respect can flourish. This approach helps us maintain our integrity and fosters healthier relationships. Ultimately, the willingness to stand by our boundaries reinforces the importance of our values in practical, meaningful ways. In the end, true power lies not just in strength or resources, but in the ability to think strategically and make the most of what you have. By sharpening your mind and learning to leverage your unique advantages, you can overcome obstacles and shape your own destiny. This rebellious insight challenges conventional wisdom, encouraging you to question limits and seek creative solutions. Remember, might is not inherited, it's cultivated through knowledge and clever action. Let this perspective empower you to approach challenges with confidence and ingenuity, knowing that your greatest assets are within your control.